welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. If you are new, hi, I'm Cora. Make sure you check out the description box below for all of my social accounts as well as my website, corashay.com. And let's jump right into today's video because we're going to be talking about a collection of tiny habits that you can start doing that can seriously transform your life. I'm gonna not give this too much of an introduction because I don't want this video to be super long and it really won't help that much because it's pretty self-explanatory. So let's get into the first habit, which is setting more goals. It doesn't take that much time in your day to set daily goals, and it doesn't take proportionally, it takes even less time to set weekly, monthly, and annual goals. But setting goals is so helpful. It keeps you encouraged, it keeps you motivated, it keeps you on track. Daily goals are one of the best things you can do to achieve your weekly goals. Weekly goals to monthly goals to annual goals. Goal setting is super, super important. I talk about that a lot on this channel. If you're watching my other videos, you're probably like, yeah, Cora, I know goals are important, but they are. And setting more goals is not a habit that takes that much time to build, and it doesn't take that much time out of your days, but it can make a huge difference. So if you are going to walk away by starting one habit from this video, I do really, really recommend the habit of starting to set way more goals than you currently do. There's no such thing as setting too many goals. So just take it away, go with it and set some goals. Next, don't go on your phone before bed. I actually just had a video that went up, I think on Tuesday, and this is going up on Thursday, about how to stop hitting the snooze button. I will link that below. But in a nutshell, this is one of the things I talked about on there too, is the importance of not going on your phone before you go to bed. So there's two reasons to this. First is that it is bad for your eyes and it can keep your brain more stimulated and going from the light. But the second reason, and this is the reason honestly that I find to be the bigger reason to start this habit, is that the chances of you getting worked up or getting invested in something that will hurt you not being able to go to sleep is so likely. You're just going on TikTok, let's say you're on a fun TikTok, and then all of a sudden you see a TikTok on your For You page that gets you all worked up. It can make you worked up in a negative way or in a positive way. Either way, now it's gonna be a lot harder to fall asleep, and there's also a good chance you get invested in it, and all of a sudden now you wanna watch 20 additional TikToks about the same idea, and now you're going to sleep an hour later than you wanted to, etc. There are so many reasons that you shouldn't go on your phone before bed, but it's not a very hard habit to implement and it doesn't take very much time. You only need to commit 20-ish minutes before you go to bed, and it doesn't really take that much to commit to that. So it's a small habit, but it can make a huge difference in your quality of your sleep, which, as we know, sleep is very important for better days and just a better life in general. Next habit, drink more water. You are probably not surprised at all that this habit is on this list, and you're probably like, Cora, I've heard this a million times, but I'm gonna be the person who says it for 1,000,001 times. Drink more water. It is not that hard of a habit to implement into your life. I promise you, if you get one of those cheesy hourly tracking water bottles, it seriously helps. Or if you're like me and you want your water to be ice cold, invest in an actual Yeti or something similar where it's going to keep your water cold. For me, adding a little bit of lemon juice makes me love water. And if that's what it takes, do that. That's fine. Figure out what works for you. There's no shame in adding a little flavor or, walking around with the Yeti all the time. Whatever. Do it. Do what works for you, but figure out what works for you and drink more water, because the physical and mental benefits of drinking water, it's huge. It's it's such a small thing that we can all do that has so many benefits. If you need any tips for how to drink more water, let me know in the comments and we can talk about what doesn't work for you and try to find what works for you. Next habit, make your bed every morning. I know, okay, it's not fun, I get it. But not only does it A, help you not crawl back into bed, which is very helpful, but B, it just starts your day on such a positive note. You're like, I did that. I am so organized. I am so on top of things that I made my bed this morning. And you know what? I've actually made it for 20 days in a row. Same in the situation. And it helps you get into a better mindset. It helps your mood. It helps your days. It's a small thing you can do every morning. And once you make it a habit, it will feel like second nature. And it has so many benefits to your life. Small habit, but with life-changing results. Of course, okay, I'm not saying that making your bed is will change your entire life, but it helps build up into those bigger life-changing moments and mindsets. Next habit, stretch your body for 5 minutes a day. I wish that I would have formed this habit a lot sooner. There are definitely medical things that have happened in my life that I'm like, oh my god, if I would have stretched for 5 minutes a day, it probably would would have helped. It also not only has like long-term medical benefits, but it also is good for your mind. It gives you 5 minutes where you're not on your phone and you're just focusing on stretching, relaxing your body. I'm not telling you to meditate for an hour a day. If you do that, great, awesome, you are better than me. But just stretching for 5 minutes a day is a small habit that we can almost all commit to, and it has health benefits and it has mental benefits. Next, start writing in your journal. Okay, I will admit, out of the habits we've talked about now, this is one that takes a little bit longer, but I'm not saying that you need to write like 20 pages every single day in a journal, because like that's really not realistic. But what is realistic is following just one journal prompt every day and writing like a paragraph or two in response to that journal prompt. It is good for getting you in touch with what you're actually thinking. It's good for keeping you on track. It's good for helping you get in touch with your emotions. Tons and tons of benefits. I have a bunch of blog posts with journal prompt ideas. I will link those below. They're not overly complicated, and you can just grab any empty notebook that you have laying around, we all have a million, and start just journaling every day for 5 minutes. The next habit is one I recommend building as a habit to do about once a month, and that is to audit your social media. Audit who you are following, like individuals as well as like brands that you're following, and then also auditing what content you are consuming and how it makes you feel. So auditing who you're following is a lot easier. It's pretty obvious, like, okay, like I'm following this person and like, ugh, sometimes they make me really angry, and like there's a solid chance if I see their post that's gonna like hurt my mood. Then just unfollow them. You do not owe anybody a follow. You do not owe me a follow. You do not owe your high school friends a follow. You don't owe your siblings or cousins a follow if their content makes you upset. But also just the general themes of what you're following. How does it make you feel? And be honest with yourself. Like if you follow a lot of really political accounts, but every single time you go on, say, TikTok, and it makes you upset, then maybe it's time to reevaluate. Can you do things to help change the algorithm to show you, maybe a little bit better of a mixture of content that will make you feel better when you're on your phone, as well as maybe you spend less time on that platform. Audit what you're doing with your time on social media. I could go on and on about this, but in a nutshell, make it just a monthly habit to go through and look at what content you're consuming and who you're following on social media. Next habit I do really recommend doing is saying morning affirmations. I have a bunch of blog posts that will all be linked below with different affirmations you can say for different scenarios in your life. But I do recommend just picking like 5 to 10 affirmations and saying those out loud every single morning, and just say them in the bathroom, like while you're doing your skincare in the morning, because it's a small habit you can do that can really help get you into a better mindset every single morning. And the last habit I want to briefly touch on that you could start doing to help you start improving your days and your life that doesn't take much time or commitment is to start complimenting other people more. Believe it or not, making other people feel better about themselves does make you feel better about yourself. It helps you feel good, it helps you feel happy, and obviously, like, it just spreads joy and kindness in the world, which, as every single person will probably tell you, we need more joy and we need more kindness in the world. So doing your part to bring more kindness into the world helps other people feel better, and it also helps yourself feel better. It is a habit that can make everything around you just feel better. So get into the habit of, let's say you're sitting at a restaurant and the girl at the table next to you has really cool shoes on, telling her, don't just think it to yourself, don't whisper it to whoever you're with, just turn to her and say, hey girl, your shoes are so cool, they look great on you. That's all. And she's gonna be like, oh my god, thank you. But internally, she's probably gonna be really, really excited. And she's probably gonna think about that the rest of the day, how nice that was that a stranger said that to her. So compliment people more, compliment your significant other more, compliment your family members more, compliment your friends more, and compliment strangers in public, safely of course, more. Spread some joy in the world. It'll make others feel better, and it'll make yourself feel better. But that is the last habit that I wanted to talk about. I do have a blog post, again, it will be linked below, with 31 different habits that you can implement in your life, but this video would be an hour long if I talked about every single one of those. So if you want more tiny habits that can make a big difference in your life, check that blog post out. But that is all for now. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button below so that you can always know when I have new content out and we can stay connected. Also, I have information below for my social accounts, as well as my newsletter. If you want to know when I have new videos and new blog posts as well, like all in one email, then check that out and subscribe to that. Again, it is one email a week. But that is all. I hope that you're having a great day. Bye.